Welcome to Power in Words, a sanctuary where we explore the architecture of the human soul and the reservoirs of strength that lie within us all. Today, we embark on a journey that is perhaps the most difficult yet the most rewarding voyage a human being can undertake. It is not a journey across oceans or into outer space, but a pilgrimage inward into the vast, uncharted territories of your own mind. We are here to dismantle the illusion of helplessness and to hand you back the pen with which you write the story of your life. We are here to speak of a truth so profound that it has echoed through the corridors of psychology and philosophy for decades, waiting for you to hear it, really hear it for the first time. There is a silent rhythm to your existence, a hum in the background of your daily life that dictates your choices, your fears, and your limitations. You may feel it as a sense of déjà vu, a recurring pattern where the faces change, the cities change, and the jobs change, yet the outcome remains hauntingly similar. You find yourself trapped in the same loop of heartbreak, the same ceiling of financial limitation, or the same paralyzing grip of imposter syndrome. You ask the heavens why this is happening to you. You look at the chaos of your circumstances and you label it bad luck. You look at the repetition of your suffering and you call it destiny. But the great Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung offered a lantern to light up this darkness when he said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This sentence is not merely a quote. It is a diagnosis of the human condition and a roadmap to liberation. It suggests that the script of your life is indeed being written, but if you are not careful, it is being written by a stranger living inside your own skin. This stranger is your unconscious mind, the repository of every shadow, every forgotten childhood wound, every silent agreement you made with yourself about what you deserve and what you are capable of. Imagine for a moment that your mind is an iceberg. The part of yourself that you are aware of, the part that sets goals, makes New Year's resolutions, and says, "I want to be happy," is merely the tip jutting out above the freezing water. It is visible, it is logical, and it is small. But beneath the surface, submerged in the dark, icy depths, lies the mountain of the unconscious. This is where the true power resides. This massive, submerged force drives the ship of your life. You may stand at the helm on the surface, steering toward the sun, desperately turning the wheel toward success and love. But if the currents deep beneath the water are moving in the opposite direction, you will drift off course every single time. And the tragedy is that when you drift, when you crash against the rocks, you will look at the sky and blame the wind, never realizing it was the current beneath your feet all along. To understand this is to understand the very mechanics of your reality. Consider the person who deeply desires connection and love, who consciously yearns for a partner who sees and cherishes them. Yet, time and time again, they find themselves entangled with those who are emotionally unavailable, critical, or distant. They cry out that they are unlucky in love, that fate is cruel. But if we were to dive beneath the surface of their conscious mind, we might find a wounded inner child who learned, perhaps decades ago, that love is something that must be earned through suffering, or that safety lies in invisibility. This unconscious belief, this silent program running in the background, is the director of the play. It seeks out actors who will play the role that confirms the script. The conscious mind says, "I want love," but the unconscious mind says, "I am familiar with rejection, and I will seek it out because it feels like home." And so the cycle repeats, not because it is written in the stars, but because it is written in the psyche. This is what Jung meant by fate. Fate in this context is not a mystical decree from the gods. Fate is simply the psychological pattern you have not yet brought into the light of awareness. It is the automated software of your past, dictating the reality of your future. It is the ghost of who you were told to be, haunting the person you are trying to become. But here is the good news, the message that should ignite a fire in your belly this very moment. If the unconscious is made conscious, the pattern dissolves. The moment you see the strings, you are no longer a puppet. The moment you realize that the monster in the closet is actually just a pile of old clothes and shadows, it loses its power to terrify you. Awareness is the alchemist. It transforms the lead of your suffering into the gold of wisdom. This process of awakening is not easy. It requires a warrior's spirit. It demands that you stop looking out the window at the world for blame and start looking in the mirror for truth. It asks you to sit with your demons and invite them for tea, to ask them, why are you here? What are you trying to protect me from? You see, these unconscious patterns were not born out of malice. They were born out of survival. The defenses you built as a child, the walls you erected around your heart, the perfectionism that drives you to exhaustion, they were all designed to keep you safe in a world that felt big and unpredictable. But you are no longer that child. You are a sovereign adult capable of handling the complexities of life. The armor that once protected you is now suffocating you. It is time to take it off, piece by heavy piece. As you begin this work, you will encounter resistance. Your ego, that fragile guardian of your identity, will fight to keep things as they are. The ego loves the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. It would rather stay in a hell it knows than step into a heaven it cannot predict. You will feel fear. You will feel the urge to numb yourself, to distract yourself, to turn back to the comforting sleep of the unconscious. But you must remember the words of the philosopher Socrates, who declared that the unexamined life is not worth living. To live on autopilot, to be a passenger in your own vehicle, is to endure a kind of spiritual death. You were meant for more than that. You were meant to be the captain, the navigator, and the explorer of your existence. Think of the great heroes of history, the artists, the innovators, the leaders who changed the world. Do you think they were free of fear? Do you think they did not have shadows? On the contrary, those who shine the brightest are often those who have descended the deepest into their own darkness. They are the ones who have faced their dragons and found that the dragon was guarding a treasure. Joseph Campbell, the scholar of mythology, reminded us of this universal truth when he said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." Your treasure is not outside of you. It is not in the next promotion, the next relationship, or the next purchase. Your treasure is buried in the basement of your own being, waiting for you to bring a flashlight. When you begin to make the unconscious conscious, you start to catch yourself in the act. You notice the tightening in your chest before you lash out in anger, and you realize it is not about the spilled coffee, but about the feeling of being disrespected that you have carried for 20 years. You notice the hesitation before you speak your truth, and you recognize it as the old fear of being too much. In that split second of recognition, you have a choice. This is the holy grail of human existence, the space between the stimulus and the response. In the past, there was no space. There was only reaction. But now, with awareness, you carve out a sanctuary of choice. You can choose to breathe. You can choose to respond differently. You can choose to rewrite the line of dialogue. And when you change the line, you change the scene. When you change the scene, you change the act. And when you change the act, you change the entire ending of the play. This is how you shatter the illusion of fate. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this trying to show me? You move from the victim mentality to the creator mentality. You realize that the external world is largely a mirror reflecting your internal state. If you walk around with an unconscious belief that the world is hostile, you will interpret every glance, every email, every traffic jam as an attack. You will create a hostile world through your perception of it. But if you do the work to heal that belief, if you cultivate an inner foundation of safety and worthiness, the mirror changes. You start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You start to see connection where you once saw separation. The world hasn't changed. You have. And because you have changed, everything is different. There is a profound freedom in taking responsibility for your own shadow. It is a heavy weight to carry, yes, but it is the only weight that anchors you in reality. Blame is light luggage, but it is a ticket to nowhere. When you blame your parents, your society, your ex-partners, or your luck, you are essentially handing them the remote control to your emotional well-being. You are saying, you control how I feel. You determine my destiny. Take back that remote. Take back your power. Acknowledge that while you may not have been responsible for what happened to you in the past, you are 100% responsible for how you heal from it in the present. As you peel back the layers of the unconscious, you will also discover that it is not just a place of dark repression. It is also the source of your hidden genius, your creativity, and your intuition. We repress our light just as often as we repress our darkness. We hide our grandeur because we are afraid it will alienate others, or because we have been taught to play small. Marianne Williamson famously wrote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." By illuminating the unconscious, you reclaim not only your traumas, but your talents. You uncover the dreams you buried because they seemed impractical. You rediscover the voice you silenced because it was too loud. You meet the version of yourself that is capable of greatness, the version that has been waiting in the wings for you to give it permission to take the stage. Let us be realistic. This transformation does not happen overnight. It is not a lightning bolt. It is a sunrise. It happens gradually, ray by ray, dispersing the shadows. There will be days when you slide back into old patterns. There will be moments of doubt. This is not failure. This is part of the dance. Be gentle with yourself. Self-flagellation is just another trick of the unconscious, another way to keep you stuck in a cycle of shame. Treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a wounded soldier returning from battle, for that is what you are. You are fighting the hardest battle of all, the battle for your own soul. You must surround yourself with reminders of who you are becoming, not who you have been. This is why we are here at Power in Words, to provide the fuel for your journey. Words are not just sounds, they are spells. They are containers of energy. The stories you tell yourself become the walls of your prison or the windows of your palace. If you tell yourself, "I am broken," your unconscious mind will work tirelessly to prove you right. But if you tell yourself, "I am healing, I am learning, I am growing," your mind will begin to scan the horizon for evidence of your growth. You must become the guardian of your own internal monologue. You must stand at the gate of your mind and demand a password from every thought that seeks entry. Think of the sculptor facing a block of marble. The statue is already inside, perfectly formed. The sculptor's job is not to add anything, but to chip away everything that is not the statue. You are both the sculptor and the marble. The chips of stone falling to the floor are your old limiting beliefs, your fears, your fate. It is hard work. It takes sweat and patience. But with every strike of the chisel, every moment of awareness, every act of courage, every choice to love yourself despite your imperfections, you are revealing the masterpiece that was there all along. The world needs you to do this work. This is not a selfish endeavor. A person who is ruled by their unconscious adds to the chaos of the world. They project their pain onto others. They perpetuate cycles of trauma. They react rather than respond. But a person who has made the unconscious conscious is a stabilizing force. They are a lighthouse in the storm. When you heal yourself, you heal your lineage. You break the chains that have been passed down through generations. The buck stops with you. You look at your children or your friends or your community and you say, the trauma stops with me. The pattern ends here. That is the greatest legacy you can leave. Not money, not buildings, but a cleared path for those who follow. So I invite you today to embrace the mystery of your own depth. Do not be afraid of what lies beneath the surface. It is only you waiting to be loved. It is only you waiting to be understood. The monsters are only shadows, and shadows cannot survive the light. You have the power to change the narrative. You have the power to turn fate into destiny. Fate is what happens to you. Destiny is what you create. Fate is the unconscious directing your life. Destiny is the conscious mind co-creating with the universe. The pen is in your hand. The page is blank. The past has been written, and it cannot be erased, but the present is being forged in the fires of your awareness. Do not let another day go by where you are a sleepwalker in your own life. Wake up to your patterns. Wake up to your power. Wake up to the incredible, terrifying, magnificent responsibility of being human. You are capable of more than you know. You are stronger than the shadows that haunt you. You are the sky, and everything else is just the weather. The storms will come and go, the clouds will gather and disperse, but the sky remains, vast, open, and untouched. Be the sky. Observe the weather of your emotions and your patterns without becoming them. As we draw this conversation to a close, remember that awareness is a practice, not a destination. You will have to choose it again tomorrow and the day after that, but with each choice, the muscle grows stronger. With each choice, the path becomes clearer. You are walking away from the illusion of helplessness and stepping into the reality of your power. Do not let the unconscious direct your life any longer. Do not call it fate. Call it what it is: a call to adventure, a challenge to rise, an invitation to become whole. You are the hero of this story. It is time to start acting like it. Your life is not a fixed destination, it is a canvas, and you have just realized that you are the one holding the brush. If today you have found a fragment of your own truth, stay with us at Power in Words. Let this not be a fleeting moment, but the beginning of an enduring conversation. Walk with us, and together, let us tend the fire of your transformation until it lights up not just your own life, but the entire world around you.